Hello, I'm Linda Duke, and I've been attending Shepherd of the Hills for about 3.5 years. I came when Pastor Leon started. I was raised Methodist. My family went to church every Sunday. We were to go to church every Sunday. And I don't know that I had a relationship, but I do remember when I was baptized, and I remember telling my mother that I feel different. But that was, that kind of ended there. And as I got older, I was in my early 20s. I had gotten involved in some other lost youth, young people, and I just constantly had a voice in my head that said, get out of there, get away from there, go back home. Because at that point in time, I'd moved out of my parents' home. I was about 20, 21. And I pretty much knew what I was in. I was working at a psychiatric hospital, and I ended up going ahead and leaving that group, leaving all those folks behind, which I thought were my friends at that time. Moved back home. My parents did not ask any questions, which I'm glad they didn't, because I really didn't want to tell them what I'd been up to for the last year and a half. At that point in time, I started going back to church, but I was pulled, but it still didn't really mean a whole lot. I thought about Jesus, I thought about God, but it just didn't go any further than that. I then, when I got married, and I was married for 20 years, I joined the Episcopal Church, and at that point in time, I found kind of my church home. I had an illness, I'm a cancer survivor, and that's really when God showed his face. That's really when Jesus showed his face. And I became so aware, going through the chemo and radiation, of what this world was about, the connection that we have with people. And I'd always been drawn to what I would call the marginal population that society had pushed out, whether it be the homeless, the mentally ill, people with disabilities. I'd always, even till a little girl, mother said, you always hook on to the people that have something wrong with them. And that's just a place where I felt comfortable. And I continue to this day. I have 48 years of mental health behind me, and I've been involved in a lot of different populations. But something happened. I had a divorce after my cancer, and then I moved to Austin, and all that just lined out. God just lined everything out, because I left a wonderful job with a wonderful group of people, and he showed me to Austin. He found me a house, and I will say that he found me a house. It was perfect. And I started working on my master's. I became really discouraged in the church that I was attending here in Austin. And I was involved in a lot of things within the church, and I quit going. And I quit going for almost a year. And I decided that Mom, my mother, who is 97, she attended this church. And I thought, well, as she's getting older, I think I'll attend with her so she'll have somebody to sit with. Well, that was probably, I think, the second week that Leon had been here. And so I heard Pastor Leon and you could have raised me off my chair, knocked my socks off. I never felt such a pound in my chest. Try not to cry in this and to get teary, but it was a profound wake-up call. And I left that church telling Mom, I'm moving my membership and I'm coming over here. And within the next week I did that. And ever since then, I have been amazed. I was here for maybe a year, and I was asked to be a deacon, which to me, I was thinking, God, you must be kidding. But at that point in time, I thought, okay, that's okay. If this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'll do. I'll be chosen, and we'll go from there. And it's just kept going. I'm involved with the Stephen ministers, and I'm doing the work that I was always meant to do. I've retired in November, and so I have had a lot more time to think about what I wanted to do, more time actually to reduce the stress and to really listen to God, to really listen to what I'm needed to do. So I'm growing. I'm struggling, but I'm growing. Before I really understood about what Pastor Leon and the direction he was going as far as love God, love everybody, I believe that that's anyone that you encounter on a day-to-day basis. It's being intentional. It's giving them your attention. Now, I do meet people that I get kind of a rough feeling off of, or I don't particularly care for. But before, I didn't ever question that. And now I do. And it always comes back to me. It's not the person that you're meeting. It's something within inside you. And I wanted to be willing to have God change that in me. And that no matter who I was called to serve, I would serve them in the best capacity that I could. Well, I've never belonged to a church family. I've belonged to a lot of churches, but not a church family. People that I've learned to know, groups, ladies that I've gotten involved with, and as I get older, they mean so much. Prime time, playing bingo, even during the whole COVID, I always knew that I wasn't alone out there. Getting cards, being part of the deacons ministry, it has really opened up my eyes about what can happen in a congregation and to its membership. You're never aware of the suffering that goes on within your membership a lot of times unless you're directly involved in these groups. And I was just amazed at not just the suffering, but the joys and the illness, and especially during the COVID time. So it has really been a growing experience for me, but at the same time, it has been I wouldn't change it for the world. God shows me his face every day, and I see Jesus in everyone. And it's really training your mind to look that way and to look at people through a different lens. And Shepherd of the Hill has helped me to show me a different lens, a lens that fits me and fits my direction that God wants me to go. The acceptance, Doesn't matter what you've done in your past. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's a camaraderie, and I think, and a group of women. You know, with me, I was always a Linda doing, you know, for 40-something years of my life. And I have become a being, literally a Linda that can sit quietly and listen and be intentional, a person that can really see the gifts and just the way a church runs, but not just so much that, but a community of faith that we're all struggling. There's nobody that's perfect. There's no one that knows it all. I have learned so much, not only about the Bible, but just from history to people, and really looking at people differently, and looking at all the quirkiness and appreciating my own little idiosyncrasies, and really being accepted by a whole group of people and being a part of a bigger picture. There's lots of growth there.